Now I'm prettier, as they would say.
All right. We're still recording, so that's cool.
After a long cut and a video camera change.
Although the only thing
I have not gotten shorter.
So the one thing I'm going to do on you.
You had to import this shit?
I bought the sign from Canada.
What you're saying?
Hold on, let me double check. So all right, we got audio. I'm gonna double check. We got, yeah, it still records. All right, so this will be the pre-cut madness of where we're getting back in. Greetings and welcome to this first test run of what we think is going to be the final setup. I am Jacob, and I am joined today in studio by
Chris.
How does it look, Chris? What do you think?
Looks great.
I'm not really sure what we're going to be talking about today, but
Me either.
yeah. Hey, so I know I asked you to join this little pet project thing. Do you know much about what I've asked you to join and why you're here today?
I know exactly zilch about what you asked me to come and talk to you
Nothing.
about.
So I just lured you into this house, and you just happened to like, ooh, piece of candy. I'm gonna come.
Well, you lured me in with that Mongolian beef that we just went and ate.
God, that was the
It
fucking
was delicious,
$12.99.
$13.99.
and you get basically 2 meals. That's really good stuff. All right, so basically this channle.
They should pay us for that ad, by the way.
Pay us for this, yeah. So this channel.
Mongolian beef in Indiana.
What do we? I think we came
free,
up with
free meal every YouTube video.
I'd be fat. I would turn into
I'm already fat, so
turn into a giant overweight beast. All right, so I guess the very first thing with this is I guess I should probably spoil the name of the channel. Do you know what the name of the channel is there?
No, I don't. Why don't you pronounce it for me so I know how to properly pronounce it?
This was kind of a play on words. We wanted to do a podcast / talk about history in Flesh and Blood. And apparently in my drunken shenanigans came up with the term called Fablorian. So Fablorian. Fablorian.
So Fablorian is so. Does that make us Fabloriists?
Yeah, we can be the cult of Fabloria. We are the cultist of Fablorians.
Now we're a cult. So not only have I been lured in with
with food.
Mongolian beef, now I am also a cult member.
You have been initiated. I fed my beef to you.
I had no idea that I was a
did you like the shrimp?
Yeah, the shrimp was great.
Shrimp was epic. All right.
Not a bad cult to join.
Come in, the water's fine. We have lots of free beef.
Just don't drink the Kool-Aid at the end of the sermon.
Alrighty then. Well, we're going to cut to we're going to go to a 4/3. Look at that. So actually, technically, I could get both of us on camera here twice. I can flip us back and forth to be.
Yeah, we could.
I didn't think about this, so I can still technically have us both.
They wouldn't be able to see if we're talking about a card.
No, not yet.
Whatever we're talking about.
But the beauty of video editing is I should be able to unscrew this. But I
actually, you're right, because you could go into the video editing and take a picture of what we're talking about and insert that on top of us.
I can just barf it back up.
Yeah.
I can yeet it on. All right. So I guess I'm going to start off by presenting a new background here, which is where we needed to go this. So we're gonna leave it on you.
I am curious.
Yo,
is there any way that we could make that full screen?
Make this full screen
and get rid of your taskbar at the top.
Oh yeah, so I can.
The only reason I say that is because the people watching might not actually be interested in your quadruple taskbar with 400 buttons.
My quadro bar.
But but now this looks a lot more presentable to me.
Can't
right?
I do like an F?
I thought you could hit
there
like
was like
F10
a
or something and make go to full screen.
Is there a view full screen option here? Zoom, page display. Display size large. Full screen mode. Control L. Look at that.
See? And look how much more... Actually, you don't even need to hide your taskbar now. Because you can just Control L it.
Control L. All right, look at that. So, all right. Well, this is basically...
So, one more thing you should look at before we get into that is what's the commands to zoom in that file. You know what I mean? Like, what do you have to? You have to just hold control and roll your mouse wheel up to zoom in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're
look at the detail.
If we wanted to talk about a specific, paragraph or whatever, or picture, you could zoom in that way as well. You know
it does look that way. And I'm going to be paranoid real quick, and since this is the first time we're doing this, I'm going to see if we're still recording audio. Hey, it looks like we're recording audio, so that's
that would
great.
suck if we weren't.
Multi-tracked audios.
Because the whole cult thing was just ad-libbed. That wasn't pre-planned. None of this is pre-planned.
This is the best sliced chicken you can get.
I don't know. That Mongolian chicken was pretty damn good.
All right. Okay, so we are here to talk about the lore in Flesh and Blood. That's the primary goal of some of the interesting stuff that we're going to talk about. So first and foremost, let's get the take here. So I Jacob have definitely partaken in Flesh and Blood from the first sets up to the latest sets. So what, other than the name of Flesh and Blood, do you currently know? Have you been able to play the game? Like just any? Let's go with any gaming history. What's your background in just generality and your geekdom, your nerddom? What do you have? What you got?
So
lay it on me.
Let's think about this. So, what are video game nerds considered? Like, what's the proper term that you would call a video game nerd?
A gamer? I mean, they're all gamers, but it just depends on people's
my background
variety.
Would mostly be on that side of things. Like, I have very lightly dabbled into Pokemon.
And you stream, like you actually do streaming.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a Twitch.
Video game.
Yep. I have a little Twitch, very, very small view count, not worth even mentioning.
Oh, really? Okay, I was gonna say what I was gonna say.
But you could subscribe if you would like.
Well,
Serious Daddy.
Serious Daddy.
SEERYOUSDADDY.
Serious.
Yep.
Serious.
Well, it's funny because it's a play on words, right? Because serious, SERIOUS. You're a serious person, but I respelled it. Anyways. So, my background would be, I played a little bit of Pokemon, tried to play a little bit of Magic. Too complicated for me.
Okay.
I didn't want to invest as much money as was needed to be able to play it at a decent level. You know what I mean?
If you had to take a wild guess, then for the most basic deck in Flesh and Blood, actually, there's a couple of YouTube channels out there starting to talk about some of the unique factors of what some of the Flesh and Blood deck costs would be. Have you looked into what a typical play deck or like I have a box right beside you that's actually that giant black box that's sitting there that is full of a bunch of demo decks that I use to teach people how to play, which I think would be something fun over the course of this is to teach you how to play.
Yeah.
I even have over off cam on the left over there, I have the new decks from the brand new set called Uprising, which just came out. And they're called Blitz decks, so they're little smaller decks. The heroes are a lower life total than the full life total, so the games go faster. It's a little bit. There's
to teach you how to play, like a generalized.
It is its own. Yes, it's its own format in a way, but also there are people that say that it's unbalanced, that format is not as fun to play. But in my opinion, as a person that is full of,
to learn to play.
It is a stepping stone, and for somebody like me that has a lot of time, sinks into different areas. Like I don't have a lot of time that I can dedicate to other things if I'm planning on doing other stuff. I want the fastest game possible. That's why I stopped playing 40K, is because that game, 40K games were taking me 2, 3, 4 hours to play.
Well, and Legion, right?
Yeah,
Star Wars.
Yeah, I play Star Wars.
We did that because
it was
faster
than
40K. But then even at the same time, you could still have 2 to 3 hour games.
You could easily
in the Legion game.
It was not too hard at all to get to 2, 3, 4 hours in a game and just enjoy it. And an average Flesh and Blood game, about an hour for what they call CC, so that's the full adult version. And then the Blitz versions, I think they quote 30 minutes to, maybe 40 minutes, 20, 30, 40 minutes, depending on how it goes.
But an hour, who doesn't have an hour to sit down and play a game with their friend?
Sure.
Like on a weekend or something, or 2 games.
And that's the excitement of it.
That's like a good amount of playtime.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A game like that. But I believe you were asking me, what do I think a quote theme deck, right? Because it's basically the theme deck of Flesh and Blood. And theme deck referred to the Pokemon little theme decks.
I'll pull something out just to show you. So I know there's some crap on top of it, but we've been opening some stuff. Oh yeah, it's all bad.
It's okay. I didn't break anything.
Away. So I'll take
that.
take
This is
these,
probably
put them
pretty
over
heavy.
here.
Yep, a little heavy. There you go.
It's pretty beefy. You can stick those back under there. Yeah, this weighs probably as much as the Mongolian beef that we just got. This is
No, that's the take-home box.
This is the take.
Mongolian
This is the
beef.
Mongolian take home. Like, yeah, that's tomorrow's dinner. So, so there's actually a couple of ways to get into the game right now. And again, before we get into the lore, I want to talk to you a little bit about of this, and I'm gonna go ahead and showcase this here. This is called the.
You lost your background image, by the way.
Oh man, because I went to a different camera and I broke it. I broke it. Oh, see, that's what happens when you.
That's
yeah.
okay.
So boop 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 flashing. Okay.
We're back live.
So this is called the Classic Battles 2-player starter deck, and actually this is the so just to show you this is the box that would come in. So I'm gonna hand this to you, and let's talk to you about you've seen some presentation of Pokemon, you've seen some presentation of various other games that you have played. So you said Magic. How does the presentation of this box, in your opinion, draw you in as a person or a player, maybe at a game store? If you've seen this on the shelf, would this look interesting enough for you to even question somebody and say, hey, why would I buy this? Or what is this game about?
So, first off, to answer the original question, you asked me what I would think a beginner deck, like a little, you buy this, you have enough to play a game, right? What do I think it would cost? I would hope for around $15 to $20.
Okay.
Right? Now, that being said, you handed me this, which obviously it has the price on the back because I see it. And this is a 2-player box.
So
you're getting 2 sets, correct?
You're getting 2 of basically what's in your left hand. So those are Blitz decks.
Right hand. So
we're going to actually get rid of the background. We're just going to go
2 of these 3, right?
Yeah. So
in this box,
you're
getting
basically
2
getting
of these.
2, not the exact same ones, but you're getting something similar or of equal.
It's a full deck to play the full game, right? Or is this the 30-minute half game?
That's essentially what that would be, is about the 30-minute. I would call it the half game, or a good introductory to go with.
And these are $49 at the time when this was purchased. I'm not sure what they are now.
You can get
this
them
box
for
was $49.
about as low as $40 is the actual cheapest you can probably get it. Typically, you're going to find them at a game store for right around that $50 mark, because that is the MSRP of those.
Which,
contrary, the small Blitz decks are around $12.99 or $11.99. Sometimes you can get them for $10.
And you get 2 of those in this.
You basically get 2 similar style decks in that. Yes.
So you get 2 of those in this, plus a bunch of other stuff. I assume.
So that's like a learn to play
the,
mat
and the mat and the instructions.
This lore, what they call lore book, which is actually the premises for this whole podcast style launch of what we're trying to do. Is actually this product kind of sparked this whole concept here. So
I would say, if I was so you asked me what would draw me in. Well, the artwork on the box is really pretty, like the holographic images. It's catchy, and if I walked into the game store and this was next to the Magic section, I'd be like, oh, is that a Magic expansion or something? Right? Is Flesh and Blood the new Magic game or whatever? So I'd be interested in that, and then obviously the guy behind the counter would be like, "No, that's a completely separate game. It's called Flesh and Blood." And then I'd be like, "Ah, could I check that out? Could I look at the box?" And I'd read the back, and it gives obviously, it says choose your champion, tells you about the 2 champions that come in this box, like what their kind of play style would be, I would imagine, based on the description here, and honestly, at $49, it's not a bad deal to get 2 decks to be able to play against somebody. You know what I mean?
So interesting enough, the biggest sticker point that everyone and their mother was so hung up on this was the fact that $50 price tag was just unbelievably bad. As in, people didn't like that. What is this?
It does seem a little high for
Daily Shuffle. Bug.
They have a little friend.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where'd he go?
Oh, there was a bug on it?
Oh, a real bug. Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
There we has a real small bug here. I wonder if I can go to this camera here, and we'll try
I'm just
to.
bringing you my phone just for fun.
Cameras. No, you're 5, right? What are you?
4.
7.
6.
No, you're 7.
7.
Who 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Autofocus.
It doesn't like you.
It doesn't like me. The bug.
Maybe it doesn't like the bug.
The bug is crawling. I'm gonna do it manually.
I don't know what kind of bug it is.
we are greeted by the mascot.
The mascot? What is
Mr.
it? Is it a baby, baby mantis?
Not a praying. I don't know. It's not a praying mantis.
Looks like a grasshopper.
As long as it
Grasshopper?
doesn't bite me and I don't die, I don't care. I mean, here, do you want it back?
No, I wanted to show you the bug.
Put it on your phone. Go walk it outside. I don't need it.
Oh.
No, where'd it go? It's green. It's right there. Don't smush it.
Don't smush it.
Don't smush it. Here, we're gonna have to use something tinier to pick it up. Yeah. Crawl on top of things. There you go. And I want the book back.
Yeah, we need the book to talk
Actually,
about.
so we're gonna pause for just a second. We're back. We're BACK. We upgraded. We've already made an improvement. It's session 1, and here we are. We're cooking with gas. What's behind you there, sir?
This would be the Flesh and Blood, extremely nice poster that was imported from Canada. Not the Coke. This poster is imported from Canada.
I mean, technically, yeah, it went through customs. It was from Quebec City, Quebec. G3E1Y5. I'm sure that means something to somebody. I don't know what that means. I think that's their zip code system up there.
Yep. So back to what we were talking about.
So
if you did tell me that this box right here, which is the shorter version of the game, right? It's the 30-minute packs, which you said are unbalanced because some people think they're unbalanced.
Some people say that it's horrible to learn.
And if you told me that it was $50 for the smaller version of the game, I would probably not be very happy. Because if you think about it, does Magic have decks like this?
They do, but they're typically they cost a lot less.
Well, that's what I was going to get at, right? Because I mentioned Magic prior, and I mean I feel like when you're talking about Flesh and Blood, you have to talk about Magic, right? Like it is the game that people would most like compare it to based on the artwork and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now, gameplay wise, obviously I haven't played the game, so I have no idea if it compares that way. But I mean, if you're looking at this and you're interested in this kind of shit, pardon my language, stuff, it makes it kind of tough to sell a 2-player game box for $50 and you're getting like half of what you could get if you bought 2 Magic player boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that makes sense.
So that would be my initial reaction if I walked into a store and looked at this book, or box, rather. But at the same time, I'm sure the person behind the counter would be able to, quote, sell this to me. Where they could say, hey, but, you know, this is the reason why. This is this, and, you know, this game is this kind of different than Magic, etc., etc.
I actually found the setting, so all I know where it is.
The setting for the auto
The
scroll.
auto scroll. I figured it out.
Nice.
It's not right there. So now I know. All right. Well, that's cool. So let's see. Does this still present for full screen? All right. So we've now basically kind of we've come almost. So there's camera 5. So that's boom. So yeah, this is just the Flesh and Blood lore book. It comes in the Classic Battles box. So we can technically use camera 5. That's kind of nice. I mean, even with that lens on it.
Zoom it in a little more, but
yeah, that's
that
why.
Can be done
Then that's why that lens originally was on the other camera.
That's a macro, right?
Yeah, I mean it'll zoom pretty tight. So
yeah.
But I mean, not to kind of devolve ourselves into some crazy conversation here. So I guess to circle back and just do a quick recap for those folks in case you jumped to this part of the video. You've never really done much Flesh and Blood, as in you pretty much, or your exposure is pretty much through me and asking, hey, what would we like to do as far as getting you to play the game? Sounds like you're at least basically interested in that.
Yeah. You've given me an extremely rough, unchiseled, like, synopsis of the game, right? Like, basically, if someone was like, hey, what is this? Can you explain it to me? That's kind of what you've given me. And it's piqued my interest. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind learning how to play, maybe buying my own deck, if it's something that I think wouldn't ruin my wallet to be able to play at a fun level. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I'm not looking to go to Worlds or, go and compete at every tournament around, but as a, like, I guess you could say hobbyist / gamer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to probably put myself in that category. Yeah, if it's not too bad to get a decently competitive deck to be able to have fun and play with, yeah, maybe I would start buying and collecting these cards because I love the artwork of the cards you've shown me already.
So if you go to the Flesh and Blood website, and the very first thing you're greeted by is this giant logo of Flesh and Blood. So I'm gonna go back to presenting the laptop here, but I am gonna remove my taskbar again because apparently that's just how things work nowadays. Nobody wants to see my buttons.
You have a lot of buttons.
I got a lot of buttons here. Automatically
Even
hide.
the buttons have buttons, it looks like.
The buttons do have buttons. Can I go full presentation mode on this? I don't know if I can. Automatically hide. It says automatically hide, and then it doesn't. Like, I feel like the technical difficulties are just going to plague me for forever on this. Like, bro, come on. Like, just...
Can you just slide it? You know how you can you make it smaller? Like, just drag it? Or...
I mean, I could also technically go taskbar... Oh, it's gone.
Boom.
It disappeared. Fine.
It hit
It
itself.
finally caught up. It caught up. It said, hey, I'm there. Now I am going to get rid of my other
tabs
things that are not
related to what we're talking
related
about.
to what we were talking about. All right, so
Yeah. Now
all
that
right,
looks great.
so
Look
we
at
are
that.
we are on the Flesh and Blood webpage here, and the very first thing you're greeted by here is this Flesh and Blood out now, the new classic TCG. So, what's your feeling when you look at something like this? Like, what genre or what mood set, from either Pokemon or other video games you played? What do you gather from just seeing this without seeing any other text? I mean, this is just literally the front page of their website. What is this incite in your mind, your brain set?
Action.
Yeah, action
That's-
pack.
So, well, I mean, you're looking at a battlefield, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a battlefield. There's a volcano erupting in the distance, which I'm not sure why they would be fighting that close to an active volcano that's exploding, because you would think they would all die anyways.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So whoever wins is still going to die from the lava or whatever. But the background there, it just makes me think fantasy fighting.
Fantastical fighting of fantasy.
Yeah. Like it puts me in a fantasy theme.
So how
right?
does this, knowing you played 40K and other fantasy games, where does this, how does this relate maybe? What does this feel like just from a photographic standpoint of maybe compared? Is there any comparison to those that you would see, or any lines that you would draw that would put you?
Not yet, I don't think.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because, so I say fantasy, right? But honestly, if you look at just that first picture,
Okay.
you see no magic. All you see is, fires, tabards, men with, melee weapons, right? You don't see, like, dragons or anything like that. So, like a fantasy kind of like a old school. I don't know what you're laughing at because I wasn't paying attention to the screen.
No, just your explanation is literally the most hilarious thing possible, because the latest set is
what I just said.
There are dragons in this set.
Well, but you asked for my initial reaction, okay? My initial reaction is it's a war, right? And it's fantasy, obviously, because you can kind of tell based on whatever we're seeing here. But there's not a dragon flying in this picture. There's not a like typically there's a sorcerer holding a magic ball or casting a spell or something.
And those do exist
I mean?
in this game. So there are classes. So that's
Yes.
probably the very first thing that we should probably maybe touch on is Flesh and Blood is a class-based game, or it is and that's what I was actually going to try to come to their website find is what is the actual definition as by Flesh and Blood. What's the elevator pitch for this game? What do people say when you are trying to teach this game or say something? What is the actual game of Flesh and Blood? And their mission statement, which is the core tenet of the game, is to bring people together in the flesh and blood to play through the common language of playing great games. And I don't know if that hits
Hold on,
home with you.
Hold on. That seems like a sentence of goobly glock to me.
Really?
Well, okay. Our mission is to bring people together in the flesh and blood through the common language of playing great games. Okay? I feel like that's the mission of all game companies, right? Like, they want to bring people together. You know what I mean?
Have you seen what Magic's doing lately?
No, what
Have
are
you
they
seen
doing?
what Pokemon's doing?
No.
It's like cash grab after cash grab after.
I guess that's true.
So,
I
like,
guess that's true.
this game truly is based on, I would say, if you gave me three, if I were to have to give you three core keywords that are said, three keywords that I would say describe this game in my own language is community. I would even say camaraderie, and then competitive. I know that's 3 C's. I don't know why.
The 3 C's of flesh and blood, according to Jacob.
But when you look at the reason I say those three is, it is competitive. There are people, especially in Indianapolis. We had I think he is a 2-time champion of the game.
Why isn't he on the show then?
Well,
I'm kidding.
Michael, that's a call out for you. We're gonna have to get you on the show. So, Michael Hamilton, we're gonna be reaching out to you at some point. We're gonna try to get you in the studio or come to you, and we can get some video of this. But he's an excellent player. There are other excellent players here in Indianapolis as well. And even right now, today, which I really did want to kind of go to, is at Family Time Games. There is an event that is actually, I think it's not a calling, but it's like a pro tour environment. There's some event.
You mentioned
happening,
it. It's like a qualifier.
Yeah,
right?
I forget the term for it. But
well,
I'm not.
All the games have different names
I'm not
for their
that good
qualifying
at playing
tournaments.
to say that it was worth my time, effort, and energy to go there. I would rather do this because this is more fun to me.
So you're saying you would be one of the 30 that would lose?
I would definitely be in the bottom, there's a bottom bracket, and I would be in the bottom of the bottom bracket.
I'll beat somebody, but I'm probably going to lose most of them.
Statistics are on my side, and I know how to play my hero. So just to give you an idea, my hero that I fell in love with is Dash. Dash is a mechanologist, and that is basically like the steamy boys, the steamy girls, and the
So like an engineer
Yeah.
class-ish.
it's very much it revolves around the aesthetic of steampunk, cyberpunk, well, not cyberpunk really, but steam and cyberpunk stuff.
That's
like that.
probably coming later.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean that is their mission statement, is to bring people together through the common language of playing our games, and I really do see that with the people playing. I mean, to me, the game play, the actual play of the game itself. Even though I've played Magic, so I mean, games I've played Magic, I've played Pokemon, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh, I've played a little bit of Digimon, I've played some MetaZoo, I've definitely played a little bit of Weiss Schwartz, a ton of board games. I mean, I've dabbled in everything. 40K, Legion, War Machines back in the day when that was a thing.
It's crazy saying back in the day for that. Because it
the
just
game-
seems
I mean,
like yesterday when
I
that
know.
was everything.
But the game
Everyone
has
was
died.
like, remember going into stores and just seeing a wall of War Machine?
Oh yeah, hordes.
And then now it's like
everything else.
it's like nothing.
So that's kind of intriguing to me. But so all those different games, I think, set me up for a different outlook than some other people that maybe have just typically played specifically a card game, specifically a board game, or they're very tailored in their specific game they've played for years and years and years, and that's all they've played.
Or someone like me who hasn't really played anything.
Yeah. So this is kind of your green pasture. You get to look at this with fresh eyes, which is
I have nothing to compare this to in reality.
It's really it's complete freshness.
Yeah.
Fresh.
So I mean, I guess I can understand their their motto when you discuss and break it down the way you did. You know what I mean?
But I was looking for the elevator pitch, and I don't know if I'm going to find it in here, but basically I was hoping to be like, Flesh and Blood is a hero-centric game where each player picks a hero to fight to the death, or like
a description, or
Yeah.
what the overall, like one paragraph that explains the whole game, basically.
Yeah, and I thought they had something like that, but I don't know if I've seen it, so...
Joke's on you, it's on the bottom of the box.
It's on the bottom of the box.
I'm kidding.
Probably. I mean, that's the other thing that I kind of wanted to point out, is it does seem like it's a little complicated for somebody who knows nothing about the game to figure out what the game is.
Well, and now that you mention that, if I pick this box up in the store, right, this box, right, the 2-player quick battle deck,
Yep.
where both players get separate heroes to play, or champions as they call them. If I pick this up in the store, and I didn't have an employee that could explain it to me, I would put it back. Because, like you said, there is no description on this. There's nothing that tells me. There's nothing that tells me how this game plays on this box.
Well, here you go.
The only thing that it does is it explains the two champions.
So I found a YouTube video, and I turned the audio off, so hopefully we're not recording any audio. I don't want to get any audio, copyright strikes. But right here, Flesh and Blood is a learn to play. Or welcome to Flesh and Blood, learn to play. Flesh and Blood is a hero-centric, fantasy-themed trading card game where there are many classic fantasy classes to choose from, each with their own unique play styles. We are going to learn to play as Ira, which is the ninja, and then we'll start the game with your hero and play, the weapon, and all that. So it kind of goes through some stuff. The object of the game is to reduce the opposing hero's life points to 0. So that was the sales pitch. That was the elevator pitch that I was hoping to just find. So it looks like we did find that sales pitch.
Yeah. So
but it's not like printed on the website in a convenient
it's nowhere
site
where you can find it. So basically, the gist of the game is you have a hero.
Yes.
And you buff your hero with your cards. And you damage the opponent's hero with the goal of making their life points, or whatever they call them, 0 to win the game, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That would have been nice to have been somewhere on their website, I guess.
Well, and
maybe it is somewhere.
It could be buried.
Just gotta dig around and stuff.
So I did want to show you this. This is another website, and this is not necessarily a endorsement for them or not, but they are a great resource for a new player like yourself. This is called FabDB. And FabDB contains a repository of all the photographs of each of the cards. So if I were to just click on this search here and say, I want to see everybody who is a certain class, but maybe instead of knowing...
Wait, hold on. So classes. So those are the heroes that you can play?
These are the current classes that are kind of out there.
There's a lot of them.
But even so far beyond that, I actually want to just click on this thing called Hero. I just want to show you, this is the list of heroes. I'm just going to scroll through pretty quickly, and here's another list. So this is all the heroes that exist in the game so far that you can actually play. So if one of these pieces of artwork calls out to you, or if one of the styles of people, so like here's my Dash. This is the one I was telling you about. So Dash has 2 forms. We're going to click on both these here just to show you. But so Dash has a 40 health adult, or basically non-young. So that's how the differentiation is. So Blitz is played with young heroes only, and the young heroes typically have less health. So this is a 20 intellect. That's what this green number is in the bottom corner. So there's 20 intellect here, and then there is 4 of the hand size. So that's that's the intellect. Intellect is your hand size, and that's your health. So basically, this is your hand size, and pretty much almost everybody in the game has 4 card draw is kind of the standard that pretty much everybody has picked. But I hope sooner or later they'll break the norm on that.
So, what class is Dash?
Dash is a mechanologist.
Okay, now go back to the hero page for me.
Yep.
So these are all the heroes that are currently released that you can play.
Yeah.
Correct?
So there's several classes. There's a mech. There's ranger. There's ruin blade. There's wizard. There's brute. There's ninja. She's a shapeshifter.
My question to you was, if I wanted to play the mechanologist class, I have to play Dash right now.
Well, actually, not
or
quite.
Or is there another?
So there are multiple mechanologists. I'm going to click on mechanologist.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking.
Now,
so there's 2.
The political answer is yes. The only mechanologist character,
because that's the only one that has the full 40
that's an adult,
as the health. Okay.
Is Dash.
Or adult. I'm sorry.
That said, there are 2 younger mechanologists that exist that is a data all and a Dash. Now, in the next couple of sets...
But that's the small version of it.
Yeah, in the next couple of sets, there could be the home world that she comes from. I believe it's called Metrics, or, well, technically they're all from Wraith, but this is where the lore comes in. So Metrics, which is, I believe, where the mechanologists kind of live in this world, is where she comes from, or because of that. And when they get to that section, because right now the current set is set to, this is called Volcor. So the Uprising set, which is the latest set, is actually set in Volcor, which is going to be where you would get some of the newer stuff. So if I were to actually switch off of the mechanologist and now go and change this to a certain set.
Well, actually, put it on, let's see the set real quick.
So this is the newest set. So in the new set, there is a total of 3 heroes, and each of these 3 heroes have a young and an old version. So basically, This is Dromai. This is the dragon mommy. So kind of like from Game of Thrones, jokingly. Then you have Fi, which is a ninja, but she's also a ninja, or they them. I think technically it's they use the kind of, and go either way kind of PC politically correct everybody wants to go with, and that's fine. The artwork can convey either one, but there really isn't a extreme sexual nature to that character, so to speak. But like as an example, Icelander is a wizard class, and then over here, so you have basically an illusionist, you have a ninja, and you have a wizard. And these each have subclasses, which is what makes them a little bit different than the original. So if you go back to the initial set, if we were to kind of peel this onion all the way back to the very first set and go to Welcome to Wraith, so it's going to be at the very end here, and look at these heroes. These are the 4 basic heroes: Brute, Warrior, Ninja, and Guardian. Now, these heroes that exist that are in this class set have a young, so you can see that there's the Brute that's young, there's a Guardian that's young, there's a Ninja that's young, and a Warrior that's young. But they are single classes, and they are not multi-class, or they're not class with a subtype. So that means that in order for these to play Brute, if you fell in love with Reinhardt and wanted to play the Brute, because it has its own play style, it would play using only Brute cards or generic cards, because that is your pool of cards you can build to play that. But if you had let's say a Fire Brute, then you could play with Fire cards and Brute cards. Now, there's no such thing as a Fire Brute, so to speak, at this point. There is an Ice Brute, or no, there's not an Ice Brute. There's an Ice class. So there is a Elemental class, which is all elements, I believe. There is a Draconic class at this point, because that is a subtype. So if you start looking at some of the subtypes that they offer, there is Draconic, Earth, Element, Ice, Light, and Shadow. So there's a couple of these. And as the game grows, these talent pools can grow. So while Welcome to Wraith was the first set, and these heroes are specifically locked down to that initial class, which means technically things that have a class and a subtype class are going to have a bigger pool to play with, meaning they probably could be more powerful.
Yeah.
It also means that by having these heroes, they may or may not really need access to other cards, because a straight ninja would have access to all ninja cards ever printed. But if it's a ninja and Draconic card at the same time, you can't use it in the original ninja, but you could use it in the new Phi, which is in the new set, which is one of the ones I'll show you the deck. I have actually the Blitz deck sitting over there, which I was talking about, and that's what we'll probably use to teach you at some point how to play.
Okay. So basically, the original 4 are kind of going to be relics unless you really enjoy their play style.
Well, and technically some of them are still kind of competitive. I mean, you still see people playing with them, and it's maybe because their abilities are more balanced with, by being a single class, they're kind of the strongest in that particular field, so to speak, maybe.
Yeah.
But it really depends on what you're looking for. So yeah, there's that. We have, can I go 6, 7? There. Now I got both of us on the screen. So where do you want to go from here? I guess I know we've kind of been blabbling on, and it looks like we're getting close to an hour for this one. So I don't want to
we don't need to.
I don't want to go terribly long. I know we had a little hiatus there, so it might be a little bit short of an hour, but just from an initial test run and kind of look, feel, what do you think? What do you feel? How do you feel overall?
I mean, this was just mostly a setup, make sure everything's running properly, test the audio, test the video, little bit of an intro into the game, or at least the lore-wise part of it, right? I mean, we didn't really tap into that too much, but
we got the resources.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I'm excited about learning about it and eventually learning how to play. It sounds like a lot of fun.
So out of curiosity, just, maybe the final tidbit to close out with today is, if you were to look at the classes as you've kind of seen them so far, granted that the newer classes, such as, this reprint here of Dorinthia and Reinhardt, which are, again, the 2 original heroes, but they have been redone where they have a different ability, or, the Dromai or the Phi or the Icelander from the newest set, do any of those, maybe scream, oh, I want to play that, without knowing anything else other than just the class? Or,
well, can you show me the list of the heroes again?
Yeah, so here is.
So don't show me the heroes, just show me that, just the class.
So you have a generic, which there really isn't a generic hero at this point. You have Brute, Guardian, Illusionist, Mechanologist, Merchant, which isn't really playable except for Young, by the way, but it is an interesting little kind of I'll tell you more about that later, because that's a super fun thought process in class. Ninja, Ranger, Runeblade, Shapeshifter, again, only young. I know that just because I played the game, but it's kind of a specialty class. Warrior and Wizard. So really you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 major classes at this moment.
I gotcha. So, unfortunately, the Shapeshifter really influenced me. Like, it sounded neat when I was reading it up there. But hearing that it only has a young class right now, that kind of sucks.
Which, if you wanted to play Blitz, is not a problem, right? Like,
no,
that is.
But if that's not like, I mean, the difference to me between a 30-minute and an hour-long game is not something where I'd be like, well, I really want to collect only for the 30-minute game.
So what I mean? What if I also told you that is going to be the hardest one to obtain? Because it is the only legendary hero at this moment, meaning that
it'd be $200 or $300 for me to buy the card individually. Is that what you're saying?
No, they've actually. Well, let me take a look at TCG Player, but I don't think.
But if it's only a young hero, wouldn't I be playing at a massive disadvantage?
Well, you could theoretically play that in a CC deck, but I don't believe anybody has ever had the ability to win.
Had been able to actually win any competitive anything.
Yeah.
With a young.
In a CC tournament now. So she's actually only $58 right now, which is actually
it's a she.
It's a she, yeah. $58,
yeah.
which is kind of crazy because it was.
She's pretty hot.
Now you can get the $2,000 cold foil from the very first printing if you really want to go crazy, but no.
I'm all in. Let me set up. Let me hook my PayPal up. Let's send it.
So
no, but so back to that. So. Initially, that was the first one that jumped out to me. So it's unfortunate that they only have a young in that right now. But I would probably say Illusionist or Wizard sounds cool as well.
Yeah, and Wizard.
I'm always drawn towards magic and stuff like that.
So the Wizard has a couple of options actually at this point. So you have Kano, and you have Icelander. So the fact that you have at least 2 options. Now the only disadvantage is obviously the Wizard being a little bit more powerful because of its playstyle. Does have a little bit less HP.
Yeah.
But it also, in my opinion, is one of the harder classes to learn to start with. So, like, from a learn-to-play perspective, I would be learning you to play probably under the original WTR stuff.
Well, that would be...
Because that's just
anyways.
That's where you want to start. I think anybody getting into the game, if you're picking up one of the new decks, there is a Dromai deck and a Fey deck or Phi deck. I would honestly, even though there are 2 decks, I would rather have a mirror matchup of me and you playing Fey because it's so much more straightforward with me explaining the rules and getting the basics and getting 4, 5, 6 games under your belt before you even try to figure out the other type of class. And maybe that's just me being a little bit weird and not good at the game, but like I don't like Dromai. I don't understand Dromai's setup as well because you're like making these tokens and you're turning them into dragons and then you're doing things and then you can pop them if an opponent blocks with a bigger net. Like there's a lot more complicated things that can happen there compared to just the standard like, hey, I'm gonna try to throw as much crap at you as possible and I'm just gonna try to basically race you to the bottom and win. Which
is what I would imagine most of the games are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's multiple layers in that guy's defense, I guess you could say.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited. It sounds like a fun little journey to take.
So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap us up. Then I was in the smaller corner for that most of that time. So
yes,
yeah.
You were.
Sweet.
You don't have the beautiful flesh and blood poster behind you though.
No,
so.
I don't. So. We are going to go to full heads, and we're going to go ahead, and at that point, we're, I guess, going to wrap up. So thanks for tuning into this initial test run here. Thank you so much. Any final takeaway thoughts for the moment?
No, it was fun.
All
Thanks
right.
for letting me do it with you.
Until next time, Jacob signing out.
And Chris signing out.
Peace. And then I can rearrange your camera to actually... So you get where you want to be, and I'm gonna...
Looks like the camera's a little catty corner.
Oh, it definitely is.
Oh, it definitely is. Boom. Maybe a little higher.
Well, put your mic where you want to be.
Okay.